Nobody is coming to hand you respect. Nobody. Not your boss, not your family, not the people who watched you sacrifice everything and said nothing. And if you've been waiting, if some part of you has been doing more, giving more, shrinking more, hoping that eventually someone will finally see you, I need you to hear this right now. That strategy is costing you everything. Here's what the psychology actually says. Respect is not a reward for suffering. It is not issued to the most exhausted person in the room. It is not given to the one who needs it most. It is installed through presence, through boundaries, through the kind of unshakable consistency that makes people's nervous systems stand at attention before you've spoken a single word. And in the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly how that installation works. We are going inside the hidden psychology that the most respected people alive operate from, whether they can articulate it or not. You are going to understand why the room reads your body before your brain speaks, why every boundary you skip is a lesson you are actively teaching people about how to treat you, why confidence without consistency is nothing but a costume that the world will eventually see through. This is not motivation. This is mechanics, the precise, proven psychological mechanics behind earning respect that nobody is teaching and you cannot afford to keep missing. Stay with me. This changes everything. You don't demand respect, you install it. And the installation happens long before you open your mouth. It happens the moment you decide at a cellular level that your presence is not a request waiting to be approved. Most people walk into rooms carrying a silent question. Do they like me? Do they accept me? Am I enough? And that question, that invisible plea, broadcasts itself through every micro movement of your body. The hesitation before you speak. The way you take up just a little less space than you're allowed. The laugh that comes half a second too early. People feel that frequency. They can't name it, but they respond to it. And what they respond to it with is not respect, it's tolerance. Here's where the second truth cuts even deeper. The room reads your body before your brain speaks. The human nervous system is ancient. It was scanning for threat and dominance thousands of years before language existed. And it hasn't stopped. In less than a blink, every person in that room has already processed your posture, your pace, the steadiness of your gaze, the weight of your stillness. They've run the full calculation, and by the time your idea leaves your lips, their subconscious has already decided how much weight to give it. This is not theory. This is hardwired biology working against every underprepared person who ever walked into a room hoping words alone would save them. So the installation begins in your spine, in your breath, in the decision to enter fully rather than edge in apologetically. Respect is not a reaction people have to what you say. It is a response they have to what you are before you say anything. Own that and you own the room. Every boundary you skip is a lesson you teach them, and they are excellent students. Every time you swallowed the discomfort, laughed off the dig, said yes to something that violated everything you stood for, they took notes. Not consciously, not maliciously, but the human brain is a pattern machine, and the pattern you've been feeding it is this. Push here, there is no resistance. And so they push, and you absorb it. And somewhere deep inside, a slow erosion begins. Not just in how they see you, but in how you see yourself. Because here's what nobody warns you about. The person most damaged by your missing boundaries is never them. It is always you. Every compromise of your standard is a quiet vote against your own worth. Stack enough of those votes and you don't just lose their respect, you lose your own. And that is the wound that takes the longest to heal. Confidence without consistency is just a costume, and the world has seen enough people in costumes. You can walk in with all the presence, all the power, all the perfectly calibrated energy, and if Tuesday's version of you is unrecognizable from Monday's, people will feel it. Trust doesn't live in your peak moments. Trust lives in your pattern. The brain is always asking one question beneath every interaction. Is this real or is this performance? And it answers that question not from what you show in the spotlight, but from what you deliver in the dark. When the motivation is gone, when nobody's watching, when showing up costs you something real, anybody can be impressive once. That requires nothing but adrenaline and an audience. What requires character, what triggers the deepest, most unshakable form of respect, is being the same person on your worst day that you promised to be on your best. Respect is not lost in one moment. It's leaked in 1,000 small surrenders. It rarely collapses in a single dramatic failure. It drains quietly in the meeting where you had the answer and stayed silent, in the conversation where someone crossed a line and you smiled through it, in the promise you softened because full delivery felt too hard that day. Nobody announces the erosion. There's no alarm, just a slow, invisible subtraction. One compromise, one retreat, one swallowed truth at a time, until the people around you have have unconsciously recalibrated exactly how seriously to take you. And the devastating part? You felt every single one of those moments. Your gut flagged each surrender as it happened. You just chose comfort over conviction again and again and called it keeping the peace. The most dangerous thing you can do is need their approval. The moment your confidence becomes contingent on someone else's reaction, you have handed them a remote control to your entire inner world. They frown, you shrink. They validate, you expand. That is not power, that is dependency wearing a confident mask. People sense neediness the way animals sense fear, instantly, instinctively, without a single word exchanged. And what that sensor triggers in them is never respect. It is unconscious dominance. The person who needs nothing from the room will always command more of it than the person desperately trying to earn their place in it. People don't follow titles, they follow certainty. A title is a label on a door. Certainty is the force that makes people walk through it without hesitation. You have watched it happen. The room full of credentials and rank, yet every eye gravitates toward the one person who speaks with settled, unshakable conviction, not loudness, not aggression. Certainty, the quiet, immovable kind that signals, I know where I stand, and nothing you say will rattle that foundation. That is the frequency people follow. That is what earns rooms before a single decision is made. Your silence in the wrong moment speaks louder than any speech. When someone is diminished in front of you and you say nothing, that is a statement. When a standard slips and you let it pass without acknowledgement, that is a statement. Silence is never neutral. It is always read, always interpreted, always filed. The person who knows precisely when to hold their words and when to deploy them with surgical precision carries a weight in every room that the loudest voice never will. Master your silence and your words become weapons. Stop auditioning. Start deciding. Every time you over-explain, over-justify, or reshape your position based on who's in the room, you are auditioning. You are handing a panel of judges your self-worth and waiting for a score. And people feel that desperation underneath every polished word of it. Decided people don't audition. They declare. They enter with a point of view. They hold it under pressure, and they leave with it intact. That is not arrogance, that is identity. And identity is the bedrock of every room you will ever command. The version of you that keeps shrinking, that's not humility, that's self-betrayal. Humility is knowing your limits. Self-betrayal is pretending you have less than you do to make others comfortable with their own stagnation. Every time you dim your clarity, soften your standard, or disappear your instinct to avoid threatening someone else's ego, you're not being kind, you are being complicit in your own erasure. Real humility lifts others without lowering yourself. It stands full height and still makes space. Shrinking has never once made anyone respect you more. You have sat with these truths long enough to feel them. Now, the only question that matters is whether you act on them or file them away with everything else you already knew but never did. Because information without application is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here because something in you is ready. Ready to stop leaking respect through small surrenders. Ready to stop auditioning for rooms you should be leading. Ready to stop shrinking and call it humility when it was always self-betrayal. The work starts the moment this video ends, not tomorrow, not when life settles. Right now, in the next conversation, the next room, the next moment someone tests your standard. That is where everything you learned today either lives or dies. Choose to let it live. The world needs people who have mastered this, and that person, and that fully expressed, grounded, unshakable person has always been you. You just needed the roadmap, and that is a wrap on today's breakdown. If this hit you the way I believe it did, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, drop your biggest takeaway in the comments below, and make sure you are subscribed to Alpha Motivation World so you never miss what's coming next. Because our next motivational speech is going to hit even harder than this one. Stay ready, stay hungry. I'll see you there.